Yeah.
Because I'm on a suspended sentence, you see, so people need to know what's going on. People need to know these court cases are happening. Obviously, the problem is you have people like that who think I'm a wanker for reporting on it. Now, there is a reporting restriction on this case, so there's already been stage 1 of the trial. And here I am being arrested for saying nothing.
I'm threatened to behead
I've done
me.
nothing.
You've not said anything about.
As you've just heard, Tommy Robinson admitted he was on a suspended sentence, and he knew there was a reporting restriction on this case. Is he borderline retarded, or does he have an ulterior motive? He was jailed last week for 10 months for contempt of court. He knew he was going to prison. This has nothing to do with free speech. This was a publicity stunt. Now when he gets out, he'll be hailed as a hero. Many of you will donate to him, and more companies will reach out to him. He is a career fraudster. In 2014, he was sentenced to 18 months in prison for mortgage fraud. The fraud amounted to £160,000 over a period of 6 months. Prior to that, he was sentenced to 10 months in prison for trying to enter the United States using someone else's passport. This is what terrorists do. And they rape children. Yes, there are Islamic extremists raping children, and they are Zionist scumbags. Tommy Robinson is also a Zionist scumbag.
Now, I got another question for you. I notice you're wearing a shirt or a button that says "I'm a Zionist." What does a Zionist mean to you? What is a Zionist?
well, a Zionist is someone believes in a homeland for Jewish people. I believe.
My definition, when I've looked at that in the dictionary, is Israel first.
It means Israel first.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
well, you know, there is a negative connotation in a lot of realms about Zionism, about international banking, about a lot of things like that. And since it does denote that it is Israel first, can you possibly serve two masters? Meaning, can you serve England and Israel at the same time?
There is no dual loyalty.
He worked as a fixer for fraudulent mortgage broker Deborah Rothschild. The Rothschild family founded Israel. Just recently, he worked for Rebel Media, an Israeli propaganda outlet. Nick Griffin, president of the BNP in 2013, will sum up what Tommy Robinson is doing.
Out of all the groups, the most important one by a mile was the English Defence League, British Freedom Party. That was a serious, systematic, hugely funded effort by a section of the ruling elite, by this Zionist neocon clique, to dominate, to simply take over nationalism and turn it into their tool to encourage the white working class to go and fight their wars, and so that when the banking collapse comes, people are looking in the wrong direction instead of the real culprits. This party, we were approached. I was approached. We were offered money from the United States, and all they wanted was two things. They only wanted us to concentrate on Islam, and I yield to no one in my criticism of Islam and grooming. I put my neck on the line. Many of you have put your neck on the line as well. But it's not the only problem. And they wanted us only to focus on that, and it only came with one other thing. They wanted us to drop our criticism of the banking system. Those were the only two things. We had to concentrate on talking about Muslims, and we had to drop our criticism of the international banking system. And I refused, and we refused. That was in about 2007. And all hell broke loose really from that time, when systematically they tried to take this party apart.
Tommy Robinson is an Israeli intelligence asset. There is no dual loyalty. He is getting paid to cover up Israel's role in the migrant crisis so that it can continue. Look, I'm not ignoring Islamic extremism. There are rapes happening, and you have every reason to be pissed off. The sad reality is that it's going to continue. We have a situation where your neighbor is throwing snakes into your house. Do you want to keep fighting endless hordes, or does it make more sense to stop your neighbor? Tommy Robinson works for Israel, and they want you to keep fighting endless hordes of Muslims. This is divide and conquer. A lot of you already know who's behind the migrant crisis, but in case you don't, in this video I provide all the evidence necessary. Only a traitor can deny what's going on.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one gone, and another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, hey, I'm gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust.